Hello, good evening, good evening, good evening. Without further ado, let me put this background music on and we're going to get this thing cracking, lacking. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed the episode that just came out. Um, I did see it not the way I wanted to see it because I was kind of traveling and trying to watch it at the same time. So I couldn't watch it the way I wanted to, which I will eventually do. Well, but we're going to get to all the good stuff here. Just give me a second here. So, give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second here. I gotta go back here a second. There we go. Oh, I pulled up the wrong episode. Like a crazy person. So the episode starts off with the Purgle, which is carrying AHSOKA and the ship and everything. And that's what we're seeing in the opening part of this episode. You see the space Purgle. We don't necessarily get to see AHSOKA in it, or do we? We see him inside there with Hu Yang and whatnot. And he's talking to AHSOKA. And he's remembering about when the Jedi Temple was still around and stuff like that. And AHSOKA just seems very optimistic at this time. So it's all cool, but this is the beginning of the story here. And this is like the first few minutes of the show. They're having that conversation. And she's talking about there's something she didn't tell Hera. So, and it was about the map. It's very troubling. And she's saying, there could have, there's so many things that could have been done differently. She's reflecting. But this is where they're at now, basically. Excuse me just for a second. I'm sorry. I got a cat here bothering me. Who's interrupting everything. He's interrupting everything. And Hu Yang is saying maybe that's the only choice Sabine felt that she could make to get Ezra back. And AHSOKA just got this look on her face like, I don't understand. So, but they're off, they're having that discussion, they're reflecting as they're traveling to Peridia, as we call it. And that's where they're going to. If you guys remember in the last episode, or as these episodes has happened, they're going to Peridia. And the name of this episode is Far, Far Away. And it's definitely far, far away because all the stuff they went to go through to get there. And so the beings in the ship still is getting tired of laying around. And let's just move up here because I'm reacting in real time. So Sabine ends up getting picked up by Shinhatu so they can ride the ship on the grounds of Peridia so they could meet Thrawn. And we have this really cool, and also too, hey, just to let you know, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and make comments down below if I'm missing any Easter eggs. And also too, as well, this will have spoilers in it, so turn away now if you have not seen the episode. This is spoilers. I will be talking about what exactly happened in the show. So Sabine's on the ship with Morgan, Balin, and Shinhati. And they're going to, and now Peridia is an ancient land. It's an ancient land that's associated with the Night Sisters. Now, if anybody who have seen Rebels and the Clone Wars knows about Night Sisters and Dathomir. And that's basically, Dathomir is where Darth Maul comes from. So this is not exactly where he is from, Darth Maul, but it's the ancient land of the Night Sisters, which is where he kind of indirectly comes from. And so when they get off the ship, we actually see some real Night Sisters. And I really love the way they did the makeup and the costumes for this. To translate that from animation to the screen to a TV show. Because the first thing I said, and you may have heard me say this in other videos, is just like, Morgan looks like more of a Night Sister from the video games. The Night Sisters they had in episode 6, them, the Night Sisters right there. That's what Night Sisters that I know, that I'm familiar with, look like. I had to actually go and watch videos of people who were playing some of the Star Wars games that had Night Sisters in it to get the kind of Night Sister that we're seeing with Morgan. And Shinhati, she says the first thing when she sees the Night Sister is more witches, which could be substituted for the B word, but I digress. And then these Night Sisters can tell that Sabine is a Jedi, which technically she's not a Jedi, but she's had Jedi training. She's been around a Jedi. And being that the Night Sisters have had dealings with Jedis before, and it hasn't fared very well for them, they want to make sure that her presence gets nipped in the bud. So they use their little night magic to kind of tie her up and take her away. So that way they can have that discussion with the Night Sisters and when Thrawn is going to arrive, or when they can go see him, because he's already arrived because he's there on Peridia. We know that for a fact. So they're just basically waiting to hook up with Thrawn. So crazy. I'm going to move this along too. So she gets put away and she hears some rumbling while she's trying to use the Force. And she knows that's not her doing the rumbling. It's Thrawn's ship. So the platform where they're at goes up into the ship. And there's all these stormtroopers and this main head stormtrooper. I'm gonna have to find out more about that character. And we finally see him. Thrawn has finally arrived. And I have to say, he looks like he hasn't missed a meal. But hey, I digress. Let's continue. So he's coming out. And he has a discussion with Morgan. And has a discussion with Sabine, because you have to remember, Sabine Wren, she knows Thrawn in the last episodes of Rebels. They know each other. They have met each other. So she asked him about where he was, and X, Y, and Z. We're going to get to that too, because as they have their discussion, there's going to be something that happens. Sabine, he's actually going to release Sabine out to go to try to find Ezra. But see, he kind of underestimated her because he did not think that she would survive, because his first impressions of her and his impressions of Sabine all this time is that she's weak. She's weak, she's weak, she's weak. And one of the reasons why he believes she's weak is because the position she took to so desperately trying to find Ezra that she's basically betrayed her people and put more people in danger, because they're going to try to come find and look for her. And now they're going to have a way to get back, and she's not, or we don't know that yet. So, but he's going to let her go look for her because he does not think that she can survive out there against those horrible things that are out there. We don't get into all that. So, but I have to say the actor playing Thrawn is doing a well done job, and I think that interaction he had with Ren was just wonderful. Very good. So now we get to the point where we start to see conflicts of interest between what Thrawn wants, what Baylan Skoll and Shinhati want, and what the Night Sisters are doing. And I started to notice that, I would say halfway through, I was just like, well, I always sensed that the relationship between Baylan Skoll and Morgan was always a necessity, but it wasn't like they was getting along. They was just dealing with each other to get what they wanted. So it wasn't like a friendship or even a cordial business partner thing going on there. They are just really dealing with each other because they felt they have a common goal. But as this episode goes on, we start to see that there is no common goal between the Night Sisters and Morgan. And I would even say there's not even a common goal between the Night Sisters and Morgan. I think that relationship is going to fall apart too, along with the relationship. And the other people had no relationship with them. They don't care. They have their own agenda. But you just really start seeing that in the middle of this episode. And when I was watching that first part of that episode, I was just like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And then he says it later on in the show. I was just like, look at me predicting. And I didn't even see the episode, but I knew that was coming up. But shame on you, Disney, for making that thing darn predictable, even for someone like me. I shouldn't have figured that out before he said it. And so Serene now, she gets out there on her own, and they give her this little animal to ride, right? And she gets out there, and there are these, whatever they are, I'm going to have to find out what they are, what their species is, what do they call them, but there's at least 3 or 4 of them. And Sabine gets into a firefight with them, and she uses all her Mandalorian stuff that she uses. And it's really good. And finally she busts out the lightsaber and starts whacking people. And actually does very well. So I was quite proud of her because she actually... Now, at some points it did look like she was kind of just swinging. But then as you look at different angles and stuff, she's really working it. So I gave her credit for that. But she still got herself in a bad situation, period. And she notices these rocks and stuff like that are moving. And it ends up being these little people. So what are the name of these people? I'm gonna look this up here. Give me a second. Noti. They speak Noti. So I don't know if that's what they're called. They speak Noti. There's people that are kind of look like turtles, but they're really not turtles. But they're kind of cute. It kind of, because of the way they're building this saga and stuff like that, they got to do something cute like the Ewoks or something like that. They got to do something cute like that. So these are like the Ewoks of this series. They're like the Ewoks of this series. They're gonna be funny. They're gonna be cute. They got a little village going on, and she starts to talk to them, and she starts to find, and they take her to where they're at. Now, mind you, the way she found these people, or found one of them, so that way she can find their village, was because the wolf or whatever they gave her to ride when they let her go, because Thrawn let her go because she thought she was going to die. And we're going to get into some other stuff later about that. Thrawn thought she wasn't going to make it because Thrawn views Ren as weak. So the animal that she wrote out there that's kind of like a wolf, horse, whatever it is, it starts sniffing, and it's just like, oh, and it takes her to this water, and that's where she finds the huta, or whatever they're called, and she befriends one. They take her to a village, and she has a discussion with them before them, and they finally understand what she's talking about Ezra Bridger, and they do. And she does end up finding Ezra Bridger, which was great. Now, of course, the Night Sisters, those Dathomirian Night Sisters, are nosy as hell, and they sense everything. So they're just like, guess what? We sense somebody else coming, and we sense something else bad going on. That what's going to happen if she does find him? And he was just like, she was just like, Thrawn was just like, we'll just have to send the other two mercenaries after them to kill them. And X, Y, and Z. So everybody's plotting against everybody. It's just crazy. But the main thing, as we watch these last episodes, it's going to be interesting how the bad guys and their whole little business partnership is going to fall apart. This is the beginnings of what we're seeing here, because people being too evil and too greedy. And it's still interesting where Balin is going with this, because he sees this as an ancient land where maybe he can access some power and start a different type of Jedi Order. I don't know. Oh, and then we find out some interesting things about Shin Hati, that she did not grow up in the temple. So she was never in the temple. Now he was, and he discussed how he was there when he saw it burn down. So that was crazy. But they do have that discussion out there, because now that the Night Sisters have basically said, hey, Ahsoka's coming, because they said it's another Jedi. And then they said these two done found each other. And then an interesting thing, when Ezra asked her what happened, she didn't want to say, which kind of cracked me up. I was just like, why don't you tell her how you got there, girl? She don't want to tell her because she know that if Ahsoka don't show up, they ain't got no way back. They're just gonna be there. So, really crazy. Yeah, and then I have to say, Ezra Bridger. You know, I watched, I think, one other video before I did this review. And the content creator was right. It's 10 years after the last episode of Rebels. So we don't know where Ezra's mind is. He's still funny, but it's really cool to see him. It's really cool to see him. I'm very quite surprised that they actually brought both of them back in the same episode, because I really didn't think we were going to see Ezra until maybe the end of the last episode. But he's in, he's down, he's there. So now I can't wait to see him move. So we'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, but I mean, the main thing, I think the main takeaway from this story is the business relationship is falling apart. Forget Ahsoka may or may not get there because we don't know that yet. Forget Ren and Ezra Bridger getting back together. Forget that. That's not even that serious right now. I think the problem is going to lie in where they're going to come in, where they're going to get an opening to possibly delay Ron's taking the place as heir to the Empire because of the infractions. Because I'm telling you right now, the Night Sisters, Morgan Ellsworth, Morgan, her and the Night Sisters gonna fall out. And then we already know that the Night Sisters and Morgan gonna fall out with Bail and Shinhati. And then we already know that Shinhati and Balin are going to fall out with Ron. All these people are going to fall out, which is going to create an opening to delay it from happening. Delay it from happening. Because I'm telling you right now, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And it's a good thing they said that in this episode, because that's the opening right there for them to be able to do anything to either delay or stop. It's going to be the infighting between the people who are evil. So, yeah, but you see it all throughout. I mean, from the middle of the episode to the end of the episode, that was something to me that really truly stood out, how all these evil factions that are calling themselves working together, it's not going to be working that well in a minute. I guarantee you by the next episode, things is going to be, people are not going to be getting along. People aren't going to be as cordial as they are right now. This was the last episode that everybody is going to be speaking nice to each other. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. This is the last episode where we'll see anybody speaking nice to each other when it comes to these evildoers in this show. It's the bad guys, that's the problem. So it all shall be interesting. So, but all in all, wonderful episode. This was just my first reaction. I'm kind of looking at the episode as I'm reacting to it right now. Certain spots, certain points that were the highlight of the show. Just like I said, Sabine up there fighting looked good. Little new characters that I like, the Ewoks 3.0. Whatever you want to call them, the whole T, or I'm gonna find out the name of it. So next episode, I can actually say what they are. And plus, by then we'll have some research done, and then we'll know what they are, where they come from. Because I already know that with this episode, Easter egg videos are going to be at least 2 hours long. This was a 46-minute episode. Right now, most Easter egg videos are running at about anywhere from 12 minutes to 25 minutes. So you can expect at least an hour-long Easter egg video from most of the content creators that are going to be covering this. So it's all going to be good. It's all going to be interesting. I may come back again and actually do an actual review of it. But right now I'm just reacting to it. And I thought it was really, really good. I think the story has progressed a lot. And I just find it so intriguing that these evil factions are getting ready to really fall out with each other. And it's not going to be pretty. So I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Because just like I said, these evil factions really falling out with each other and trying to mess each other up is going to be the way everybody else slip in. Watch what I say. But anyway, this is it. I just want to make sure I did this review tonight. This reaction tonight. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below and support if you can as possible. But any Easter eggs that you know of that you want to post, comment on, put them down below. Let me hear about them. I'm always open to hearing that different type of theory about Star Wars. I love Star Wars. This particular show is different because it's another type of show where I would say half of the viewership really doesn't know that much about Ahsoka or any of these characters, so it's new. And then the way they're being presented and their storyline and stuff like that is still different for people who may have watched the Clone Wars or may have watched Rebels. So it's all interesting, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and support the channel. This is Darth Trishula. I'm out. Have a good night.